Well, today we're back in the studio when we're going to do a full setup video from start to finish. This is the Reolink Duo PoE version. Let's tear into it. Let's see what's in the box. Okay guys, so I actually have the Reolink the Duo PoE version. This is the PoE version. They have a Wi-Fi version. They have several versions of this camera. I preferred the PoE, so when Reolink offered to send this to me to show you guys, I asked for the PoE version. They were glad to accept that. So let's take a peek what's in the box. I already cut the seal, just so I don't have to do that on camera. And right away, we'll read it with the "Be prepared, be Reolink." Alright, so that's got to have the standard owner's manual stuff, and nice, and a template for screw cutout as well as for cable cutout if you're going to bring cable through. So I got that there. They do give you, as always, their standard Reolink 24-hour surveillance sticker. Let's set that up to the side. Alright, boom, foam. Okay, so we got a small patch cable. Great, set that over there. It's going to have the standard kind of seal kit for the cable itself. That's standard on most Reolink cameras, so I have that. And then we have the camera itself, which is in a bag. Okay, so there's the camera itself. I'm going to leave the protective cover on there. You can see we have actually an outsource 12-volt connector to power it, which we're not going to use. We are actually powering it over PoE, so it's just a single connection. Now, this is something to say. This is a PoE camera, and it does take one cable, so it plugs into one jack on your switch, or if you have a networked NVR from Reolink, this will plug into one port on the NVR, but because it is two cameras, it actually takes up two channels. Even though it takes one connection, it takes up two channels. So if you have an 8-channel NVR, you have 7 other cameras on there, and you only have one connection left, this actually requires 2 channels. So that's something to say real quick. Let's see. The mount looks like, okay, and there's more hardware in there. There's the mounting arm, and then there's the mounting plate. So I'm wondering if, yeah. So you actually, this mounting plate looks like it actually attaches to the actual where you're going to place it, and then you actually pop that on, and then one more screw through the bottom to attach this permanently to the plate. So I'm wondering, it still shows that you have to drill 3 holes, but I wonder about that last one. I'd like to look into that a little bit more. They actually give you a screwdriver, inexpensive but simple, and it'll work. And then they give you what looks like 4 screws, 4 drywall anchors, and then 2 threaded screws in there as well. So I'm going to look into that exactly where that all goes, because if I look at this right, it looks like there's 2 screws that go through to connect it, and then the third one is just for this to connect it to the plate. So I'm wondering why you would need 3 holes and not just 2. Alright, let me look into that and we'll go forward. Okay, I found a couple things in the instruction manual. They actually show that you do need all 3. So you put the 2 holes through the actual plate, which show the 2 fasteners mount the plate, and then the third fastener, actually there is a drywall anchor down there that you put in, so 3 anchors, and that third one, the screw goes through the plate all the way through into the actual material. So yes, you will need to drill all 3 of the holes that are actually on this itself, and then from that, you'll only need 3 of these and 3 of the screws, and then the other stuff looks like it's probably just extra stuff. Also, another thing to showcase is they thought more than usual on this one. So this camera is separate from the mount, and the mount actually just uses a standard, looks like 1/4 thread, like kind of tripod adapter. But the nice thing is that you can attach it to the bottom, right? And so this actually has a nice friction, and then you can tighten that friction fit as well. So that nice friction there. So you basically attach that, and then you can either A, you can choose which side essentially this is going on. Is it going to go on the, are you mounting it from above so the camera's below it? Are you mounting it from below so the camera's above the mount? So it gives you options. Maybe I didn't do that on camera very well. So you can see where you can move that around. That's the neat thing about it, is it does give you a lot of options, and you can swivel this head around completely, and then in the end obviously you tighten that down so it doesn't move, but it just gives you options. If you want to mount it like this, you can do that, or if I swivel this around, I can mount it with it below. Just options. Now, one thing I will say is that if you're going to mount it below, this hollow section is facing up, so you're going to want to put it in a spot where this isn't going to fill with water. But that said, you could mount it kind of vertically even. It looks like they thought of that a lot, so that they actually did that correctly, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the camera. Pretty straightforward. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get it mounted outside before I actually set it up with the NVR. I'm doing NVR setup, so I don't have to put a memory card in. If you're going to do this directly through your switch and hook it up direct, there is, on the bottom down here, a little plate right here that you can put a micro SD card in, so it has onboard storage, and depending on the size of the SD card, a micro SD card will depend on how much storage you're going to get in there. I, on the other hand, because I am doing PoE and everything, and I have a Reolink NVR. Now, I will say this as well. This camera with the two lenses requires one of the newer NVRs. Now, my NVR is actually, I want to say, 2 years old. It does work with this camera, but there are, if you look at the firmware version, or the hardware version, I'm sorry, of your NVR, you have to make sure that it's a specific hardware version or newer, and I will put those down in the description of which hardware version as well, maybe on the bottom of the screen too, but that you have to be running. If you have an older NVR, this is not going to work with that. So that's one thing. If you're going to use this with the NVR and you want to actually plug this into the NVR, you have to have one of the newer ones. Also, you got to make sure that you are running the newer software on the NVR so it does work with the dual lenses. I did update the firmware on my NVR already. I actually updated it a month or so ago, not even thinking about this, and so I am running the newer firmware, which is not difficult. You log directly into the NVR itself, and maybe I'll show you that here in a minute, where to check and where to do that, directly through the NVR, and you can update the firmware, and you can download the firmware directly on Reolink's website. So that said, let's go ahead, let's go outside, let's mount this guy. And I do actually have a cable outside already that I think I'm going to try to just use, because I had an old camera that I had up there, I removed and moved it. So I'm going to put this in that location for now. It's a good test bed for me because it sits in a good position. So this plate gets mounted first with the two, and then we kind of go from there. So let's go outside. Okay, so if you did this in most cases, you would take a level and level this little guy and a little sticker and stick it where you're going to go. I already know where I'm going to go. However, I can't reuse the holes that I already had. So I'm going to kind of set this up where I'm going to go with it, and I guess make my drill holes best I can. And I may have to widen this hole for the cable a little bit. I'll have to play with this one a little bit just because of how it is oriented here where I want to put it, because I want to reuse this hole that I already have through where the cable is actually going to come through. So this is going to be a little bit different than your setup, but it's what I have to go with. 1/8 inch drill bit. That'll work for a second. So what I'm going to have to do a little bit different is I'm actually going to have to feed the cable through a little bit through this hole here before I actually mount this, just because of how my hole is oriented. I didn't want to create a hole, another big hole below the hole that I already have up there, so I just angled it a little bit, which just means that I'm going to have to get this through before I can mount this. So this is a little bit different than probably how your install is going to do. However, you'll get the gist. So we got 3 of the screws out, and I will actually have to feed this guy through this guy first. Come on. That's a tighter fit. Okay, there we go. So that first, then this plate. And make sure you have it so that lip faces out. And then I'm going to feed the wires through here. And if you've never used one of these before, it's just all screws together. Nice. And the only reason is my grate here actually failed on me, so I got to replace that. But now I can get this put into place. And now I'm going to get this oriented how I want it. And then the last screw goes in the bottom. Now, get this oriented how I think I want it for now. And you can see, even though it's set back from the brick, I still have ample room behind there, so even with that inch back set. Now I'm going to take the protective cover off the camera. I'm looking forward to seeing what this sees. So there we are mounted. In this case, I might want to put a little silicone right in here to fill that hole, but that I'll do later after I'm happy with everything. Okay, just to go through this real quick. So I logged into this is my NVR login, which is just the IP of the actual NVR itself. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And you can see it pops up with the actual cameras that I have currently connected. If I actually go to all the way up here to the settings, I click on settings, this is where I can actually change system settings. And over here on the left, there's system settings and info. This will tell you the hardware version. So my hardware right here is N2MB02. Let me get a little closer for that. So you can see here, this is the hardware version you need, or newer. So mine's an RLN8410, and that you need to be running firmware version 3.0.0.148 or newer. So that's the things you need in order to run it, and this is the place where you can find out within your Reolink NVR is the info tab. I should say this as well, under maintenance here, that is where you can do your firmware upgrade. So you download the firmware from the website, from Reolink's website for your specific NVR, and you can update it here. So we're doing the NVR setup. I guess I can leave this open. Let's go plug the camera in. Okay, so I actually have a patch cable plugged into port 4, which is where my other camera was connected. Let's come over the front. And you can see I currently don't have, that's the actual line coming down. This is the camera that's going to camera 4. So I'm going to plug that in. And we should be getting a power light. Oh, sorry about that. Yep, so it's blinking. Come on, yeah baby. We'll give it a minute. You can see I have plenty of channels available on my NVR. I'm only using 3 of my 8. So now that it's going, let's go check it out on the web portal. Okay, I actually decided to see if we can actually do this through the actual app itself. So this is the Reolink app that you can download for, well, this is a Mac version. They also have a PC version as well. So let's bring down, so I didn't do anything, right? All I did was plug things in, which is how it's supposed to be with Reolink. We have 1, we have 2. So let's click on 1. Haha. And then let's click on 2. Okay, so technically this is 1, this is 2, which, you know, obviously, there we go. So you can see in my backyard, camera 1, camera 2, and it blends together all the way across, right? And so you can see in the backyard I have my van back there, my trailer, 2 sheds back there as well, and we're getting a good amount of stuff. I get it from, I mean, that's pretty close to the corner of the house over there, and that's pretty close to the corner of the house over there. Yeah, that's part of the deck, I think, right there. What is that? Bring that up. Oh, yeah, that's my little awning I have over my patio door right there. So right down in that bottom corner down there. But you can see I didn't do anything. I didn't set anything up, right? But now I can actually go hit the little gear icon here, and we can actually see the display. I wonder if we can change the name of it. It's a stream. We can change the resolution if we want. I'm going to keep it as high as possible. Frame rate, I'm going to jump that up to 25 frames per second. Bit rate, you can change that if you want to up that at all. And that's just for how you actually see through the app itself. So, let's go to alarm settings, light settings. Let's go to system. Let's go back to this A. So camera display. May have to go to the camera itself to change the name. Let me take a peek at that. So I can't seem to find a location within the actual desktop app, at least on the Mac right now, where you can actually name the channels. So I'm on my my Reolink app on my phone. You can see channel 1 and 2 in here as well. If I actually go to the gear icon up here, I can go into the settings of my NVR. Down here you can actually see the actual channels themselves. But right above there's an item called channel list. That's where I actually named these 3. I was hoping to do it on the desktop as well, but you hit edit, and then you can change and name it whatever you want. So now in my app I have backyard east, backyard west, and then you can actually move these around all the way to the right. You can move these so you can bring the other channels that aren't using anything right now brung down. So there we are. We have our channel lineup completely done. If I come back out here, now you can see it's all oriented exactly how we had it before. And obviously you can see where I have 1 here and 2 here, so I can actually orient that a little bit differently if you need to. Otherwise, when you come through here, you just cycle through it. It goes in order that I want to see it. So that's yeah, that's the setup of the Reolink Duo. If you have an NVR, it's literally plug it in. There's not a whole lot of setup. Now I've actually been kind of doing Reolink stuff on and off. I bought my NVR. I bought a camera. I actually bought a couple cameras. I've had a couple sent to me from Reolink themselves, and to be honest, for the money, they're a solid camera. I've also had one camera go bad on me, and that's why I moved the one from my backyard to replace that for now. But I actually have the new camera to put back up. So Reolink, their customer support has been great. I basically sent them a warranty request saying, hey, this camera it died on me. And then they actually shipped me one and saying, basically, I had to send the receipt and everything where I bought it, and everything. They shipped me, because I was in warranty, they shipped me a brand new one, and then just said, make sure that we get this back. I didn't ship it back right away, and then they sent an email, hey, make sure you do ship it back. And oh yeah, sorry, I actually had a box, I just didn't get it to UPS in time. Sent them the tracking code once I shipped it. It's been great to deal with. So for the money, they're a fantastic security camera system and company to deal with personally. Now I have only had to deal with them on warranty support on one camera, and I have not had any issues on any of my other ones. So we'll see down the road. But I am really impressed by this so far, and I can't wait to show you guys more of it once I actually have more time to play around with it. I will do a full review. Once that full review is up, it will be down in the description. I'll put the link to it over on TechGooch. So this is my GeekSmart channel, this is my setup channel, and my TechGooch channel is my review channel. So if you're not familiar with that, that's where that link will take you. But by all means, head over to my TechGooch channel as well and check out everything there. Thank you for watching to the end. If you have any questions, like, comment, subscribe, share, whichever. You can basically comment below, or you can head over to techgooch.com and get a hold of me directly if you have something more poignant. So thanks for watching to the end. We'll catch you back here at GeekSmart for another future video setup review. I have another one to do, actually, right next. So we'll see you soon.